Where's the bell?
Well, I haven't quite gotten there yet, you know? There we go.
What do you mean it hasn't gotten there?
I haven't gotten there. It's
There
here.
you go.
So let me get to the beginning.
Just go to slideshow and say
Yeah,
start at the beginning.
slideshow from the beginning. There we go. Welcome to the April
It's a
21st meeting of
miracle.
the Rotary Club of Sebastopol Sunrise. Scott, thank you for being our greeter.
Yeah, I was here. I don't know what reading I was, but I was here.
You showed up. That's the most important thing. Thank you very much. Yeah. So Terry Kelly, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. Please face the flag or whatever it is you face, or wherever it is. And the first word is I. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
For all. Thank you. Bob Keyser, do you have a thought for us?
Boy, I was so focused on the student of the month, I forgot the thought for the day.
That was the
Well,
thought.
Sorry.
Student of the month is important. That'll be the
that
thought.
is stay focused. That's it.
so here's a thought from Rotary. Rotary has no ambition beyond solving problems by serving others.
Very good.
So, Bill Sauber, are you here?
He was.
How can he not be here? He's supposed to be here. We got this all lined up. We're going to have sunshine. So we're going to sing.
Get Rod.
Huh?
Use Rod.
So, what do you
Todd
want to sing?
McCauley is here.
Let's sing "Oh Beautiful Person."
Well, we were
Oh
going to
beautiful person.
You are my sunshine.
Yeah, you are my sunshine.
Walking on sunshine.
We got a
I
lot
have
of
it all
verse.
arranged with him and everything.
He was
So,
doing something patriotic.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, if I got all the words, help me along.
Okay.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. And I hung my head and I cried.
It's not Bill Sauber.
Okay.
Wow.
Now
I
see
didn't know there was a
Sauber's
third
here.
verse.
Bless. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Sorry about that.
thank you, Rod, for stepping in.
Oh, it's
for
Bill.
Who stepped in for
That was
Joe,
Bill.
because Joe is in New Jersey. So,
My
So-
condolences.
Yeah.
The high COVID state, along with Rhode Island and Michigan.
yep. So we have some cyber Rotarians with us this morning. First and foremost, we have past District Governor Bruce and past District Governor Helene, our favorite past district governors. And we also have past District Governor Kathy Flamston from Calistoga, who will be our program today. So welcome, guys. And then we have some guests. And right now we have Allie Green and Kimberly Nyberg from Laguna. And I'm sure Kimberly is probably on the phone, if I had to bet, waking up our student of the month.
It turns out that waking up teenagers is very challenging sometimes.
They go to bed later.
They do.
Yeah. So we will wait. Wave to your friends. And if we'll wait until our student gets here. So And then I got to mute everybody because there we go. Yes. And we would have a student of the month if he would wake up, but we'll come back to him when he, just let me know when he's awake. And we don't have any birthdays. Jerry and Phyllis have a wedding anniversary. So Jerry, on the 26th.
Yeah,
So that's
on Monday.
Pardon?
We are celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
We're going away for the first time in over a year. We're going to go down to Morro Bay.
Nice.
For a little R&R and maybe some bird watching and photography.
Fabulous. Well earned. 40 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have a couple of Rotary anniversaries. Kathy Rogers, woohoo! April 22nd. That's tomorrow, Earth Day.
Thank you.
So, is there any particular Rotary thing that just makes you go, yep, that's why I'm a Rotarian?
Well, I think, in the last year, we realized how much we miss, how much we do that we don't get to do, like rebuilding together, the Christmas dinner, in-person auctions and events and First Fridays and just the camaraderie. I've always loved the camaraderie and doing stuff together.
Great. Well, thank you. And I can't remember. Where's my piece of paper? Just a half a second. It says 6 years. So congratulations.
It seems like much longer. Just kidding.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
So Jim Goodenough, 19 years, April 24th.
Seems like much shorter.
Time flies when you're having fun. So is there any particular Rotary moment that just really hits you?
I think when Terry Kelly and Michael McLaughlin and I lit the barbecue just outside the door of the Vets Hall, and the fresh barbecue smoke blew in that door into the inside of the hall. It was pretty cool. And then later that night, we had some leftover shish kebabs and we gave them to a lady that was homeless in the park, and she was happy to have the food. That was nice.
Great. Well, thank you. You're a past president too. So you've done lots of stuff. So thank you for being a Rotarian for 19 years. So here's what's going on. Today we've got the food bank from 1 to 4. Hopefully we have a good crew signed up. Then on Saturday is the road cleanup. And Bill Sauber, do you want to say a few words about that? Unmute yourself. There you go.
We'll be meeting at the parking lot for buses behind the high school. And that's going north on High School Road, just after the main entry to the high school. And be sure and bring gloves, hat for sun protection, wear boots or closed-toed shoes, no sandals or anything like that. And it should take, an hour and a half or 2 hours, something like that. And we'll be done and ready to go. We're going to meet at 9 and should be wrapped up by 11.
Hey, Bill, we have 15 signed up with 1 spot available.
Okay.
Nice.
As of last night, anyway. I didn't look this morning.
That's super. Now, there is one little complication. Do you know what that is?
Is it going to rain?
There's a 20% chance of showers on Saturday. So bring a rain jacket or something like that, just in case, or check the weather. But yeah, it's called Murphy's Law. It's like Kathy with her garage sale for the second time in 50 years. Let's face it, Sometimes we like Murphy, sometimes we don't. What else is happening? Well, we've got the auction open, but we'll hear more about that. So let's go to the announcements. So Michael Cook, you wanted to talk about the auction.
Yes, I
I'm
do.
going to stop sharing because you wanted to share.
I do. So I thought I would show off the website. Of course, this is our club website, but there's a link, a convenient link. You get to click here and then you click the red one down here and you'll find yourself at the auction website. We've kind of dressed it up. So for the moment, at least, we've got the wine collection is segregated. So you can see there's several wines available. And there may be more if we keep adding.
There's some very good ones there.
Very good ones.
Yeah, this is not upgraded Ripple or anything. This is serious stuff. So a lot of it is great.
I didn't know Ripple had an upgrade.
Hey, man.
That's the king of the heap.
That's right. So we also created a link to something we call premium items, which has nothing to do with insurance, despite what some people say. But these are items that cost $1,000 or more that we have available. So there's beauty treatment, there's web development, there's Bill Sauber's personal favorite, the Pengrove Power and Implement Museum. And Jim Gloss, Peace Pole. That's the actual peace pole that you will get. And if you click on an item, you get more information about it, like what the starting bid is and that sort of thing, and a bigger picture. So that works really nicely. The most recent addition is the summer poolside barbecue. Could use some more images, but have to wait until Joe Gaz gets back, or maybe we've been over there plenty of times. I'm sure there's images. But Michael McLaughlin and Joe Gazdowitz have stepped up and are offering a afternoon barbecue at Joe's place, and Michael will do the honors of preparing a barbecue. So we're hoping to get some of the bigger items donated.
Michael?
Yes.
Also, just got word that the Sebastopol Documentary Film Festival is going to donate 2 all-access passes to the upcoming film festival.
Oh, great.
Fabulous.
Yeah. I would even bid on that. So who solicited that? Is that you or?
Gene.
Gene. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we
A close relationship.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
We have another donation. It's not up there yet, but it's really cool. It's a Congolese, an African oil painting donated by Judy, purchased directly from the artist in Africa. And it's really cool. I've got pictures of it. And
great. Let's work together to get that up there.
Yep.
I'll show people how to get in there in a moment. But the other thing I wanted to show you is the featured Fund a Need page. This will be dressed up a little more, so it's more sexy, but we've got a couple of photos here and a description about why we're behind this particular thing. But this is to better equip river keepers to be collecting the trash along the Russian River. And got a couple of pictures of those guys in action. And we hope to get enough money to not only get the lift gate, but have it installed so it's all ready to roll when we have it. And there'll be a thermometer icon in here that will grow as donations grow for that. So that's our featured item for this auction. So that's the quick tour. And the other piece was you can donate an item just by going to this page, and you need to be prepared to give it a title that is interesting and put all the description in. And there's another place for notes that might be important, and the value. And we want images. I was clicking here. I was kept saying, how do I get the images? It won't let me. But actually, there's this big button down here in the lower right. It says continue to item images. You can upload them. I'm showing you from a computer. I think you can also do it from smartphone. And if you're like me, most of your photos are actually on your phone. So the more images we have, you can do more than one image and help illustrate just what the item is all about. So it'll be open for 2 weeks for the bidding. We now have 51 items on the site, and as you heard, there's other items that are coming that aren't posted yet, but we'll be throwing them up there as fast as we find out about them. And I think you need to have some sort of image. It might not be a photo of it, but an image that goes with the item, so it doesn't just have text.
Michael,
yes.
do we drop our items off at Lori Darling's office, or Lori, is that the plan?
Yes, unless you have a different plan. Like in the case of the Peace Bowl, it'll be installed by Jim Glom with full ceremony and all that. And so he's hanging on to the Peace Bowl, so you'd be in touch with him directly. But most of these items are at Lori's office, and she has offered to store them there and provide them to people as they win the items.
Where is Lori's office?
It's on the corner of
down by the
Petaluma and-
hospital. Let's see, it's on Petaluma.
Can I have a street address?
We'll get you the address. We'll get you the address, Henry,
Thank you.
and I'll sort of show you where it is. It's easy.
Okay, I see our student is here, so shall we go back and
Done? Yes.
do our?
Well,
and
can we
honor
spend
our
a moment
student?
more? Just or after?
Yeah. So Bob Keyser or Wayne, which one of you is going to honor our Laguna High School Student of the Month?
That would be me this morning. I don't see.
He's here. She's here.
Okay.
Javier?
It's always my honor to introduce the Student of the Month because, you know, I think this is one of the best things we do here is that this particular Student of the Month, Xavier Vera, is currently a junior at Laguna High School. Before coming here, they were over at Annalee. And what's interesting is that when I was asking where, you know, being a junior, where they'll go next year, they said, you know, it depends on where Laguna is. You know, the thing is that if Laguna is going to be at Elmo, they're going to be going back to Annalee. And so because they ride their bike to school. But currently, as I said, they're junior, and the favorite subject is biology and chemistry. So it shows a inquiring mind, shall we say. Least favorite is history. So I guess you know, there's always something new to explore with chemistry and biology, maybe not so much with history. And I was asking how Laguna compared to the private school, the other school, and I realized that was kind of not a fair question, because you're comparing a distance school to in classroom school. But Laguna is back in class again, so that's positive. And I was asking after high school what the plan is, and they were saying that maybe it'd take a little time off, but possibly getting into the more technical aspects of, actually, I forgot the exact word they used, but anyway, Xavier, do you want to say something?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, what do I say?
Just say, good morning. We're happy to see you.
Good morning.
Hello.
Sorry we aren't treating you to breakfast like we would when we're meeting in person, but here we all are. It's an honor to have you with us this morning. It's always fun to see our student of the month and to hear a little bit about what you like and what you do. And biology and chemistry, that's great. That is fabulous. And I'm sure you know Wayne, because he's our mad chemist.
We spoke yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us, Xavier, what you're thinking about doing when you graduate, after you take a little time off?
Probably go to college for something for being a multimedia artist or some kind of makeup artist, or go into acting.
Okay, well, that sounds interesting.
Yep.
So you're not going to be a chemist, I guess.
No.
I could talk to you about that.
Xavier, he's very convincing.
Yes. Yes.
So Xavier, if we were meeting in Rio, at this point I would be handing you a plaque, which I guess you'll get the plaque from school, but on the plaque it says this plaque is awarded for your rigor and your what would you say, your attitude about being a inspiration to the other students there. So, and right after I hand you that, I would be handing you the money, which is of equal importance to some, but that will be. What was that?
How much money?
Oh, I think it's enough to make him an impression, but not too much to get in trouble. I think it's only $50 actually. So and following the handing off of all the swag, everyone would be standing up and giving you a standing ovation. So.
Right.
Thank you for coming. And Allie or Kimberly, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Xavier, we just want to say that we're really, really proud of you, and thank you so much for getting up in the morning and joining us here.
Absolutely. I second that. And thank you so much, Xavier. You're doing a great job, and we're really, really proud of all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now you can go back to sleep.
I'm actually going to be hopping on my bike and going to school.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
there you go.
then getting you up a little bit earlier was worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go back to sharing my screen. Oh, no, I won't. I'll go share a different screen. Jerry, you want to talk a little bit about t-shirts, or not t-shirts, shirts.
Yes.
Love shirts.
The beloved Sebastopol Sunrise custom clothing option is once again available now through Russell Hampton company. They have been our supplier of Rotary stuff for a while. And anyway, very reliable company and good quality shirts. So we're going to send out this flyer to everybody. Check your email today or whenever Michael Fells will send it out. Thank you, Michael. I'll send it to you. And what you can do is take a look, the website there, bestclubsupplies.com. That'll be a live link in the PDF. And then go down where it's circled club shirts right there. Click on that. And the full description of all kinds of clothing, long sleeve, short sleeve, polo shirts, I don't know, pajamas, underwear, whatever you want. And then there's an order form. So important on the order form, put in our club name where it says club or district name, and then all of your information in there. And in the instructions where I've highlighted in yellow, just type in style 1 of our existing design and tick off that box that says this is an exact repeat of an existing design. They already have that design. You can see it at the top of the flyer there, and that'll be, embroidered on the left, above the left pocket of the shirt. And if you have any questions, I've got my email address on there in the middle, and we can all show off our club.
Super, thank you. Yes, we have actually, there we go. Stop share screen, go back. We have today at the food bank, and we have our cleanup on Saturday. And I know I have this is an older shirt because it has the old logo on it. But it would be nice for us to all have shirts when we go and do projects. So our program next week, David, Mark, Raymond, do you want to say very briefly a couple of words about our program next week? Oh, he's disappeared.
Nope, I haven't actually. I was just hiding. So Craig Litwin, many of you remember, Craig was a member of our club. Craig is the CEO of Commission, and I'll do his rather lengthy introduction next time. But he's a former city councilman, twice mayor, and he is helping us with our work with coordinating with the other service clubs and bringing our town kind of into the village and working together. He's a very worthwhile speaker and a really bright guy.
Great, thank you. So Michael Fells, who is lucky number 27 for
lucky number 27 is Al Lustig.
Al. I will put your name on the back here and scratch it later and let you know if you've won. Nope, the rich probably aren't going to get richer, but what the hey, we try every week, don't we? So anybody have any happy bucks? We have just literally 2 minutes.
David Mark Raymond does.
Yes.
I'm going to use this opportunity to put in happy bucks, and can't call out the names of everybody in our club who has made a contribution to the auction or who has helped with the many, many things. But at this point, we have our signs are going up. That's probably where Gus is right now, is putting up the signs on the 4 entries to town. So look for those. And we have 250 flyers, and we need a core of folk who will scour Sebastopol downtown, Sebastopol uptown, and Sebastopol around town to the businesses that are there, taking them to those spots. Good news is it doesn't have to be a whole pile of flyers, because these have QR codes that will allow people to snap a shot, go in, look at our auction items. But the really big thing we need now, our auction starts 2 weeks from now. We'll be in the second day. That's where it is. we need a much more robust and exciting auction. We're doing well, but we're going to drive more business to it than we have items to sell. We need items, experiences, opportunities, services. So think of what you can do and think of who you know, and please reach out. By the way, when you saw the club website and you saw the way that Michael went in with the link, the first page that you land on at the bottom has an online form to upload donations. So you can just go into our website, touch that link to get in, and then go to the bottom of the first page you land on to online, and you can load up items that you think would be attractive and somebody would pay money for. And this will be the easiest fundraiser that I've ever known us to do. No picking up the garbage afterwards.
Yay. No. Okay, thank you. So then, shall we go ahead and have our program? And who is doing our introductions for Kathy? Is that you, David, or is Charlie, or who's doing introductions?
Well, Barbara, I thought I would leave that to you.
Oh,
since you and Kathy know each other so well.
Okay, well, welcome, Kathy. Kathy is the past district governor. In fact, she just literally got off her term, but her mission now is youth exchange. And I know our club has been heavily involved in youth exchange, which is just thrilling. So Kathy, take it away. I'm going to stop sharing. And if you have anything you need to share, that would be super.
Oops. Hello.
Welcome, Kathy, and tell us all about the status of youth exchange, even though it's basically been suspended for another year. Yay! I like your dog.
Oh, thank you. Where am I here? Let me get out of here. Stop share. I don't know what I did. Let me try one more time.
I know the feeling well.
That's Sophie, and she is our love. There we go. Share. Got the right one. Here we go.
There we go.
Well, I kind of feel like I'm speaking to the choir here because I know you're very well entrenched in youth exchange and have been doing it for a long time. I appreciate the fact that Julian has had 2 attempts at going to Brazil, and unfortunately Rotary International has decided it isn't safe for everyone. So we're going to put it on hold again for another year, as you may have heard. But this is kind of a preaching to the choir, as I said, but I do want to share some new information that we have. So we'll get started with this. I am the Youth Services Director for the district right now. So with that hat on, I'd like to invite anyone who's interested in being an Interact Chair for the district to please let me know. Pat Miller has done such a beautiful job, and she wants to share this opportunity with others. So if you're interested, she has great help for you and can walk you through the process. And I'm sure you have an Interact Club as well in your schools in the area. But right now we're going to talk about youth exchange. So as you probably know, that youth exchange is a study abroad opportunity, and it's typically for students who are juniors in high school. So the age for students is between 15 and 19. And they have an opportunity to live abroad for a couple of options. We have a couple of options. So usually we pick the student when they're a sophomore so that they can be trained properly and get all the information they need for the country they're going to and the expectation of Rotary. So as I said, we have a couple of options. We have the long-term exchange, which is, I think, what most of us are used to. It's an 8 to 10, 12-month duration. Typically it's 10 months. Students go to another country on a student visa. So they are under the auspices of the State Department. And we typically have 2 or 3 host families. And then there are some mandatory and non-mandatory events that students go to. And we all love bringing our exchange ambassadors to our events because they bring a new perspective and wide-eyed innocence sometimes to what we do. And it's great to share our lives with them. This year, we're having another opportunity. Well, no, it won't be this year. It'll be next year now. To do a one-way inbound exchange. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And that's with Africa. Some of the African countries have been approved by Rotary International to exchange. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So that's one type. Oops. Let me go back. Previous. The other type is a short-term exchange, and that's typically a month. It's usually in the summer, and it's a family-to-family exchange. The long-term exchange typically isn't a reciprocal exchange, and by that I mean where the inbound student goes to the outbound student's home. That's not typical. Usually we try to mix it up a bit. But in the short-term exchange, it is kind of a kid swap, so to speak, where one student goes to one house and then comes back, and the fellow brother or sister in the other country comes and visits here. So it's, as it says, short-term. It's usually during the summer when school's out, and it is actually very impactful as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that later too. So what does a youth ambassador look like? Youth exchange ambassador look like? Typically, they look pretty much like this wide-eyed student of the month you had today, just wonderful, enthusiastic, fabulous young people. Their ages 15 to 19 to qualify. They can't be any younger than 15 and a half or any older than 18 and a half by August 1st of their departure year. So last year when we couldn't exchange, and we were hopeful that we could, 8 of the exchange ambassadors hadn't aged out yet, so they were able to still qualify. And I believe that Julian might still be able to, if that's what is decided to do for your club. They need to demonstrate leadership in schools and the community. And a lot of times we think of the great students, you know, the A students, but many leaders don't get good grades, as we know. And so look for leadership in all capacities. And I know that you have always had wonderful exchange students. And so keep up the good work with that. They need to be flexible and willing to learn new things. Obviously, oh my gosh, can you imagine having to learn what these students need to learn to go to another country? God bless them for their willingness and their enthusiasm. And they need to be open to new cultures and different cultures, and be able to bring our own culture to another area with grace and humility in some cases, but just share who we are too, as not only Californians, but Northern Californians, because we have our own little culture here as well. So that's great to do too, is to bring our culture somewhere else. So what does it cost? And I'm sure your club has budgeted a lot for long-term exchange. There's a monthly stipend, $100 to $200, depending on what the cost is in the area. In Calistoga, we typically had a $150 stipend for the student, and also to pay for district and school events. There are a few district events that the students need to attend, like the district conference, district training assembly. It's nice to get them there just to kind of see people and say hi. We have Blues Busters and a couple of required events that the students need to go to. And also we need to think about things like the prom that maybe they're not aware of and need to pay for. So those are the school events. So there are various costs for the long-term exchange program. For the short-term exchange program, really there's no cost to the club. Since it's a family-to-family, the family bears the cost of the exchange. But the financial burden can really be difficult for many students and many outbound student families. So the club can certainly have fundraisers. As you have your fundraiser, you can have a fund in need for your exchange program, or you can budget something for the outbound exchange program. I know in Calistoga, whether it's long-term or short-term, we always pass, and actually we pass a piñata because we usually have it on around May 5th, and we have a Cinco de Mayo celebration with fabulous Mexican food, and we'll pass a piñata around and collect from those attending to give our outbound student ambassadors some spending money and some expense help. So what does it cost the youth? This is what sometimes causes us not to have as many exchange students as we want, because the cost can be a little difficult for them. But typically for short-term exchange, it's about $250 for the application fee, and it's about $600 for the long-term exchange. And of course, there's always round-trip airfare. And for our students, they have open-ended tickets, which really was helpful the last exchange year we had. Because of COVID, we had to get kids home quickly and safely. So if they had a specific date, instead of an open-ended return home ticket, it would have been horrible trying to get everybody home all at once. So hats off to the Youth Exchange Committee for making sure everybody got home safely. There's some insurance requirements and travel documents like passports and visas, and then of course spending money. And on each end, whether it is an outbound student, there are tours that they can take. And the inbound students, we have what's called the Western Safari, which District 5130, our own little district, sponsors. It is not specifically for just our students. Students from all over the place can take this little tour of California. But it's a great excursion for those that want to do a little extra tour. Excuse me. My sexy morning voice, pardon. And then we have host families, of which I have to say there is your own very special family here. Your club does such a great job of providing host families. We provide room and board. We share our lives with the students, and most of all, we have fun. And I have to say, I love taking students the first quarter, because that's when my favorite time of the year is, which is the fall. And I love showing an exchange student who's never seen a pumpkin yet made a jack-o'-lantern how to pull the guts out of a pumpkin. The looks on their faces are always priceless. And then they have this beautiful, creative jack-o'-lantern on the front porch until it rots and falls in on itself. But it's a fun time, I'll tell you. So we have a lot of fun with our exchange students. We have what's called Rotex, and these are youth exchange ambassadors who've returned. And they mentor our inbound and outbound ambassadors more than I think many people know. They really are part of the heart and soul of our youth exchange program in District 5130. And they're a great resource for the club in the district. We here at District 5130 have one, if not the only, registered and organized active Rotex program in Rotary International in the United States. We really utilize those exchange ambassadors when they come back. And I have to say, I'm lucky enough to be the mother of many exchange students and the biological mother of an outbound. And when he came back, Rotex had not gotten to the point where it is now. And it would have helped him come back and have someone to talk to and share his experience with, because quite frankly, when he got back to school, they all moved on, and he didn't really have anyone that really knew where he'd been and how he'd changed. So Rotex is great for those ambassadors that are coming back to us. And they have a good place, soft place to land, and they can use their gifts of being youth ambassadors to help others. And I think that's one of the things that we need to really embrace, is that, you know, we send our young folks to another country and they come back, and then what do? We don't want to lose them, and that enthusiasm and that love for Rotary and love for the world, because we have just shrunk the world for them. They're coming back, and we want to embrace and bottle that enthusiasm. And Rotex is a great way to do that. I'll get off my soapbox for that one. So we have some miscellaneous youth exchange information. District leadership. I have to say that we have a great district committee as far as youth exchange. It is district wide. It's not a committee of one, which sometimes we have. It's very active. It's exciting to be part of it. So if you get a chance, and I'll put this up a little later, the website has some great information about leadership, and we're always looking for new people to help. And as I say, it encompasses every corner of our district as far as having representation on the leadership team. Wessex, you may have heard of Wessex. It is a non-commercial organization of which District 5130 is one of the founding members. And there are 18 Rotary districts that are involved. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, multi-district organization in the United States as far as that goes. And it's a place that we can go to make sure that we comply with all of the audit requirements that we need to meet for the State Department. And it's a great way to pool our resources and to improve our program. And that's one of the things I have to say, that during this downtime of COVID, the district leadership committee has not been sitting around waiting for things to start. They've been working on making the process more streamlined, finding ways of making things easier for everyone. And I have to say, Haider Agina from the Eureka Club is our district committee chair, and he's decided that he wants to have a fundraiser to help with some of the youth exchange ambassador expenses, scholarships of sorts. So they're devising a golf tournament for youth exchange, and the proceeds will go to scholarships. That's in the north. If there's anyone in the south that wants to do some sort of fundraiser for youth exchange scholarships and that kind of thing, please feel free to contact Haider. He'd be willing to bring down some of the northern folks to help with the southern folks get things going. So that's something to think about. And I kind of got off track of Wessex, sorry. The State Department, you know, we're glad that we have the State Department to help shepherd us through everything. The students need a J visa, which is a student visa to go to another country. And in the time of COVID, I have to say, the State Department, Wessex, and our district leadership team kept everyone safe and got everyone home in a safe manner. Our student at that time was safer staying in Calistoga than to go home. So she stayed, I think, until the end of May. And then because of flight restrictions, we were afraid we couldn't get her home. We sent her home just to make sure she made it there okay. But she was far safer, sheltered in place here. It was rather than going home where COVID was a little worse at that time. We share with many countries. As you know, the countries, and I have to say this, I didn't realize until I came into the committee, the countries are vetted through Rotary International. So we may have shared with other countries in the past, and we don't do that anymore. And it could be because they're not qualified as certified countries anymore. But in Europe, we share with Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, France, Spain, Italy, Austria, and Switzerland. In Asia, we share with South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, and Turkey is getting ready to host. And this was as of last year. I'm not sure who's still available. So Latin America, we share with Argentina, Paraguay, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Chile, and there's a district in central southern Mexico that's on standby as well. And Africa, I mentioned that we were going to be starting Africa. It's a one-way exchange where we host students only, and I think it's going to be Kenya that they're coming from. I thought it was going to be Nigeria and Kenya, but there might be another country as well. That has changed a bit, but these different districts, and it's a district that's certified, not the country. I need to make that very clear, that these are districts. The districts go through certification, so that's kind of in limbo still. But we're doing a one-way exchange, and there are 3 clubs that have volunteered to take in a student from one of the African countries. And hopefully they'll get certified and we can have a 2-way exchange in the future. So some of the challenges, of course, some of our biggest challenges, at least for our club, is finding host families. But they're there. We just need to find more creative ways of looking for them. Finding qualified candidates. And this time of the year with COVID, it can be difficult because kids aren't as open to hearing past exchange experience. And that's usually what gets our candidates so excited about going on exchange. Getting new clubs involved can be a process that seems daunting. We have a great committee for that to help get things going. And continuously improving our training and the use of software and our website. And as I said, during this time of COVID, we've been working hard on those obstacles. And we're developing a scholarship to help with the financial burden. So those are some of the challenges. But I think the Sebastopol Sunrise Club has embraced youth exchange and certainly managed to handle these challenges quite well. Our district youth exchange website is ye5130.org. Check it out. It's a great website. I think it's very thorough, and there are a lot of documents there, a lot of things to look at. You can also access it by going through the district website itself, Rotary5130.org. And I have to say that I really do think it's one of the most well-organized and well-run committees in the district. And that's my editorial opinion. If you think about what they have to do to get all these kids to all these places safely and home again and prepared to go, that's what I really appreciate, is that it's got a huge task and does it well as a committee. The other thing I wanted to mention is we recently had our district training assembly last weekend, and the Youth Exchange Committee did a series of short videos, and they're all located on the Youth Exchange website. So check that out. Some of them, they're all very moving, and they're stories told from the heart. They're like 1 or 2 minute videos. If you want to use them for your fillers or something for your own meeting, you can certainly do that. I do believe that sharing, instead of calling it plagiarism, sharing is a very nice thing to do. And they're inspirational stories from the heart. I found this, and I thought this was very interesting. It's the explanation of youth exchange. And one of the things that I wanted, that struck me so much, is that it says that youth exchange inspires young leaders to serve as catalysts for peace. And for me, that made a lot of sense, because when you know someone and their culture, peace is inevitable because you understand why they do what they do. So that made a lot of sense to me. And I really appreciated that little sentence as far as what youth exchange does. It's huge. It's really just huge. So that is it for me. I have my cell phone and my email address. Yes, I'm one of the few people still on AOL. I'm that old. So if you have any questions, I'm open for questions.
Kathy, I have one comment, because we hosted a few students, and we had one student from Taiwan, Eric. And during his year, one of the things that he did was he got involved in theater, and it was one of the major cast members in a musical. And I said, Eric, this is exactly what youth exchange is. You get to do things that you would never do at home because of whatever, box you're in, so to speak. And he had more fun and thoroughly enjoyed it and had a great time, and actually was quite good.
that is such a heartwarming story. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things I didn't mention, because this has happened since I put the slideshow together, is that we're doing a youth exchange newsletter. You may have seen it. We send it to everybody who has not opted out to DACDB. But we want to bring stories like that to everyone to understand that, it's not just one person that is involved in youth exchange. It's an entire community and an entire district. So those are wonderful stories. I would love to have him let us know, and we can put that in our little newsletter that comes out monthly.
Great. Questions?
I'm looking at the YE 5130 website. So is it Voices of RYE where the videos are?
The Voices of RYE are stories from Youth Exchange. I'm not sure where our webmaster is going to be putting them. And since they just happened, they might not be up there yet. But there were, I think we had 8 videos to see. And yeah, they're very good. And they're not all stories of exchange. One is like from Renee Hyde, who is our short-term exchange program counselor. So she talks a little bit about that. So there are various aspects of youth exchange.
I like the story of Ryan. He was our first outbound student.
Yeah.
I just heard about him where he thought he was going to go somewhere in Europe. But it was all kind of last minute stuff. And he ended up being sent to Japan. And he was like in shock at first at the thought. But after he got there, it turns out his favorite sport is golf. And he charmed the bejeebers out of his hosts over there by getting out on the golf links with them. I thought that was just perfect.
Yeah, you don't know what the world has in store for you. I know our son was supposed to go to Belgium and ended up going to Brazil. So, from French to Portuguese, it's a little similar, but not quite the same. And he's been back 5 times. It just changed his life. So,
well, and interesting about both the people who have been spoken about. Ryan ended up going to school on a golf scholarship. Who knows? And Eric from Taiwan that Barbara was talking about. Barbara, you might know that Eric went back and he got so interested in song and dance that he ended up teaching dance in Taiwan. Wow. That was his gig for the longest time. He's up to something else now, but there was good follow through. So I'm sure that's still in his life.
Yeah, well, that's like Fabio, who also stayed with us. He was from Milano, from Italia, but he was a computer nerd, Linux. He was thrilled to death when he found out about O'Reilly Publishing being in Sebastopol. Make a long story short, he posted on Facebook just the other day that some lines of code that he wrote ended up being part of the Mars mission.
Wow.
So he was thrilled to death about that.
So Barbara,
he has a software company now.
I just have a couple comments. This is Brian Bauer. I had 3 kids go through the short-term exchange. It was absolutely wonderful. You got great stories. And if you need people to talk, I'll volunteer them. Maybe 1 or 2 will come forward. And yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kathy. We're out of time for you. And thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
We love
Thank you for having me here.
We love Youth Exchange. Okay, so let's go back here to share and Charlie. But first, Al, when I first rubbed this off and I saw the 2 888s, I went, hot damn, we're gonna have a winner. Sorry, didn't work. Another loser. Maybe next week. So thank you. Now, Charlie.
Okay. Well, I picked out this joke from a newspaper, so figuring it must be way clean, which is the requirement. But do keep in mind it's from the paper in Boonville, the Anderson Valley Advertiser, which is one of the most unusual papers around, and you can't rely on everything being absolutely true. But this, according to them, is from an MD, and it's called Natural Medicine for Guys. Instructions: go up to a tree and take a leak. If your pee attracts ants, you've got diabetes. If it dries too fast, your sodium is high. And if it smells like meat, your cholesterol is high. If you forgot to unzip, it's Alzheimer's. If you missed the tree, it's Parkinson's. If you peed on your shoes, enlarged prostate. And if you can't smell it, it's COVID-19.
I like that. I like that. See, and Earth Day is tomorrow, and the Earth is laughing at your Way Clean joke. Yay, thank you. So here we are again. Bill Sauber, would you like to lead us in our audio song?
Yeah, I actually came in just about halfway through the first song, so sorry about that. But
that's okay.
I was working on the wine auction, actually. I was uploading more wine. Anyway.
Okay.
So let's take it out.
And you're totally
Happy
forgiven.
trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Adios, buckaroos.
And Michael Cook, are you meeting again after this? As usual?
Yes. We're hanging in there. 30 minutes of